LMSUK here at the University of Portsmouth, and we have an incredible special guest with us today. This is a folk singer-songwriter, and we're very proud to have him on. Here's, of course, Will Pope. Will, how are you today?
Yeah, good, man. Thanks.
It's amazing to have you here today. And walking in today, I looked at your performance. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was transfixed on it. Mm-hmm. And where I want to start is that guitar is the most beautiful guitar I've ever seen. Where did you find it?
It's an old guitar. I mean, it's called a Gretsch G100 CE, and it's kind of a jazz box. It's modern. It's been made like recently, but the idea is that it tries to recreate the old sort of 50s jazz box thing, but with a bit of like a modern twist. It's a really, really nice Gretsch. Unfortunately, they don't manufacture it anymore, so I had to really look around on all the second-hand guitar apps and try and find it. And eventually got it. Yeah,
it is absolutely beautiful. Nice, I want to take you back to the very start. Mm-hmm. Writing your first song. What was it about? What was it called? And how old were you at the time?
Oh God, I don't actually know the answer to that. I guess like I used to write a lot as a kid, like really, really young, and it was always sort of writing that I really liked. Like when I was like as young as 10. I was quite an introverted kid, and I can't remember when the first song came about, because I only started learning guitar when I was like 14, 15, and then I didn't start singing till I was 25. So
crazy.
I don't really know, really, if the honest answer is. It's kind of just all slowly merged together into what it is now.
Amazing. That's quite an interesting story, actually. So songwriting first, and then picking up the guitar, and then obviously not singing until 25. But, I mean, some of the songs you've got are absolutely phenomenal. The streaming numbers are there. People obviously love it and love your sound and what you do. As a singer-songwriter, what does folk mean to you? And what does that genre how do you want that to come across when people listen to your music?
Folk is like it's quite minimal, but it really tries to speak to, it's very similar to pop in many ways, I think, and you get a lot of crossovers with pop and folk. It's a really difficult thing to try and explain, but I think with folk there's longevity, right? So there's songs that go back very, very far that have just been borrowed and handed down, and then there's also technique, certain styles and forms of songwriting that get borrowed and passed down through generations in folk music. Maybe that'll be the case for pop as well. I mean, it's still kind of early days, really. I imagine, like, I was kind of chatting with a friend about this, actually, about, what is music going to be like in like 100 years compared to what it was like 100 years ago and where it is now. It has been this insane revolution of new ideas and new techniques and all that, new equipment, new everything. It'll be interesting to see what survives like in 100 years' time and what is remembered. And I think folk is like an example of music where it does survive. And why it survives, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's just, like there can be songs that everyone knows, like House of the Rising Sun, for example. Everyone knows that song, but no one knows who wrote it, and no one knows where that actually came from. It was just, I think it was like a mining song or something that people used to sing. But yeah, it's just like, I don't really know what it means, but I know what it is, I guess.
Sure.
But what it is that actually makes what makes me want to write it, what makes people want to listen to it, I'm not really sure, honestly. For me, I kind of fell into folk music because I just liked the sound of an acoustic guitar, and I liked singing. But maybe that is what folk means, I'm not sure.
I really like your answer there of simplicity, because it's so stripped back. Hearing you today, there's no loads of band members, loads of notes. It is really in its simplest, purest form. There's something quite beautiful about that. And as someone who loves music, I go to a lot of shows. Sometimes I don't notice kind of the quality in, let's say, the sound equipment, the PAs, the lights. I recently went to a show at the Brook in Southampton, and it was the first time I can genuinely sit there and go, wow, the lights and the sound are making this performance really come alive. As a performer yourself, I'm guessing you notice it a lot more than I do. Do you have any favourite venues where you just absolutely love performing because the setup is so good?
I recently performed at Union Chapel in London, and that was just out of this world.
Why?
Like the sound in the room, it's just the acoustics were just insane. It was incredible. I mean, it was a chapel, right? So it's literally designed to have an amazing sound. Acoustic sound. But you can really, really hear it, and it was almost like, I said to the guy who was running in the night, I was like, it's almost like it's really hard to make a, like, of course you can make a mistake and it might show up, but like the room is so like, it bolsters you, it like gives you that confidence and that cushion to know that you can really try things and stuff, and which I was really surprised by, because I've definitely played in venues where the sound quality has been amazing, but it's like you're running a tightrope, because if you could make a slip, then it's going to be really obvious. And as a solo artist, you know, that's something like you can't hide behind someone else, you know, like it's just you. And you know, usually if you make a mistake, it's fine, you just laugh it off and you crack on, but like you want it to be as good as it can be, if not better, you know.
Of course, absolutely. I want to bring you back kind of more to present day and where we are now. I mean, people adore your music. The streaming numbers are phenomenal on Spotify, and if people are listening, I want them to go and check that out. What's the most proud song you've brought out, or maybe not brought out yet?
I like all my songs. I like the most recent ones. I guess they've been quite difficult to write. For personal reasons, I went through a really tough sort of bereavement, and the songs that are written, have been coming out recently, I've been connected to that experience. And I think there have been a few songs on there where I've, with the benefit of hindsight, I've been able to listen back to them and go like, I did a good job really trying to capture that period, or that particular day, that moment, like, and I'm proud of that. Like,
do you feel like your writing gets better as it goes on? As time goes on, do you feel you are more equipped to write better music, or is it something that's just completely natural and if it happens, it happens? Sometimes you might write a bad song. How do you feel about that?
I think there definitely is like a rule of like, what is it, like 10,000 hours or something like that. Like, you know, that is definitely there. I think it's very easy to be very critical, and too critical. I am still quite critical of myself and my own writing, and that can really impede creativity. And you know, it's something I'm working on to try and like get a bit better at just going and not stopping and starting and stopping and starting, which is how it's been a lot of the time. I think. So my debut album that came out during lockdown, which I just did as a bit of a pet project, really. I'd been living in Beijing and writing these songs, and then I came back, and because of the pandemic, there's no way of going back. So I was a bit stuck. I was marooned, but I was marooned home, so it's fine. I had many friends who were marooned over there, and it was just even worse. So, yeah, I mean, I was kind of worried that like I was going to release it, especially being that it was like a debut. I was going to release it, and then 5 years later I was going to look back on it and just cringe that I did this thing, you know. But I don't, like, I'm really like proud of it still. I'm really happy that I did it. And so I think, like, yes, your songwriting does get better, but I think you'll be proud of whatever it is that you do, even from the early days.
I think it's amazing for the musicians watching this, like kind of hearing that point of view that you've just had there of being really specific of you are critical, actually having it gets better, and maybe having good support with producers and whoever that may be, but just knowing in your inner self that, okay, this body of work, I felt that at the time, it's out, now I feel here, and it does progress and it moves as it should. For the people at home that have really enjoyed today and learning about yourself and the performance as well, what have you got exciting coming up so they can come and check you out at?
Sure, well, I'm playing two really great venues. One called the Lexington in London.
It's a great venue.
Yeah,
can confirm.
Yeah, yeah. I'm playing there at oh god, the date's going to escape me now, but it is like soon. I think it's the 19th of October, so it's a Saturday as well, so it'll be a really nice night.
Amazing.
And then I'm also doing St Pancras Old Church in November.
Crazy.
Which is a lovely venue. I played there a couple of years ago, and I'll be really, really happy to go back, because it's just, again, it's like Union Chapel. It's just this. The sound is incredible, and it'll be great to go back there. And that is on, I think, the 21st or the 24th of November. It's definitely that week.
Yeah, in that period.
It's definitely 20-something November. It's definitely in that period. And then I guess music-wise, there is always stuff cooking away. You always have stuff in the background. There's definitely 2 more songs coming out. One of which I just played, which is a song called True to Form. That will be coming out fairly soon.
Amazing.
I hope.
Will, thank you so much for coming on today. Everyone at home, I hope you check Will Pope out, and thank you for the university for letting us do today. Thank you.
Thanks.